Alright, so I've given him a couple minutes to think. Now he's just, he's eaten all the treats that were immediately around him, and he's just kind of looking at me. We're going to see. I've got a bucket of treats here. He has eaten out of this before, so I guess that's kind of cheating, because they will occasionally put treats out for them. That way they recognize the bucket. But I'm going to step up into the trailer. You can watch his body language change as I step up to be almost as tall as him. I'm short. I'm like 5'1" and chunky. So I'm not very threatening when I'm down here, but when I stand up, we might see a change in his body language, and that's okay. It's kind of expected, but I think he'll adjust as long as he doesn't, you know, blow through the wall. But I'm going to look down while I get up. It's a good boy. I don't want to be scary at all. Do you remember this sound? Hey, you've had treats before, right? You ever had a treat out of a bucket? Oh, good. There we go. He's sniffing it. There's a good boy. Good. Here. Here, what about this? He wants it, but he doesn't quite trust me yet. There, will you let me pet you? I'm going to pet you with the stick. Good boy. Here's my stick. Yeah. He's going to take a good look at it. Good. Good boy. For what it's worth, with the exception of really dangerous behavior, like kicking or aggressive biting, and I don't mean like the nibbling kind, like my favorite is when we get them relaxed and we're scratching their shoulders and they finally feel brave enough to reach around and scratch back. Sometimes they get a little exuberant. I usually try to wear a thick coat because sometimes they don't understand to be gentle, and that's not on them. And I never ever punish that because I want them to know that if I invite them into my space that we're buddies. But anyways, what I was going at was with the exception of really dangerous stuff, like, you know, kicking at me, like just bucking and kicking in general. If they're running around, that's fine. But if they're kicking at me or striking at me, or if they aggressively bite at me, those are the only 3 exceptions that I would ever break code and smack at them with this. And even then, I don't smack them in the head. All other times, every stick item like a crop, a lunge whip, a literal stick, is nothing more than an extension of my arm to pet them with from a distance so that they can feel a little more safe. Funny. All right, so we're going to go for a sniff. We're going to sniff it. Good boy. We're going to touch it. Good. I'm going to use the... There we go. And I'm going to try to touch his shoulder. We're going to see what he thinks about that. Woo. Easy. Good. Easy. Good boy. Good. You lived. Good boy. There we go. I know you might be thinking, oh, that's like nothing. All you did was drag a stick on his shoulder. Well, can you imagine if a bear cornered you in a oversized tin can and then like started prodding you with a stick? You know, he wouldn't have to spend hours caressing you for it to be a big thing for you. One prod would probably be close to traumatic for you. But we're trying to make this a good experience and trying to teach him that I'm not going to hurt him. And I just want to be his buddy. Hey. Hi. Can you have another sniff? You have another sniff? Good. Good boy. Easy. Easy, Felix. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Ooh. That's okay. All right, well, I pushed him a little too hard there. I didn't like that, so I'm going to back off. Let him have a second to think about that. Good boy. Good. You're all right. I'm going to let him have a bite, and then we're going to do it again. Until, eventually, this becomes a non-issue for him. He may turn and try to kick me, and if he does, I really can't fault him for that. Easy. If his butt is what he will let me scratch, then that is what I'll take. Easy. There we go. So he didn't kick me, which is awesome. I'm going to call that a roaring success. Good boy. And he decided that the treats were more important than getting away from my stick here. So big guy. It's okay. So you see, his mouth is tense, his eyes are wide. So he's not, you know, having a walk in the park or anything, but he's not sweating profusely. He's not huffing and panting. I haven't chased him around. I've just gently used body language to coerce him into here. Hey, here, let me move this closer for you. Oh, crud. Oh, there I go. I dumped the bucket over. Way to go, me. Let's see if I can stand it up without scaring him. Oh, yeah. Here we go. The nice thing about the stick, I did not have to put my head down by these powerful front hooves. And with a stud colt, of course, you don't want to be anywhere where they can brain you. I wish he was standing in a more flattering pose. This horse is really nicely built. Right now he looks all funny because of the angle. Hey, bud, have a sniff. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Hi. Who's a good boy? All right, we're going to try another scratch. He's a good boy. Easy. Easy. Here we go. That's okay. We'll scratch your bum. Good. Good boy. There. There it is. The moment of realization. You see that? Look on his face. He's like, oh God, she's touching me. And it doesn't hurt. It actually feels kind of good. Now the trick, the biggest trick, I guess it's not really a trick, but the biggest thing to consider is if you don't have a strong arm, don't do this, because if you don't scratch hard, hi, there's a good boy. See, now he's looking at me with curiosity instead of with just fear. The trick is you want to scratch hard, because when they scratch each other, they don't, oops, I poked him in the ass. That was terrible. But he didn't kick me in the face that time either. So, I mean, this horse is great. Oops, sorry. Usually I use two hands because I do have floppy wrists from years of untreated injuries. Anyway, you don't want to scratch gently because that just tickles. That feels like a fly, and that's a distressing feeling for them. You want to scratch hard, like, I mean, you wouldn't want to massage through a parka, right? You'd want a good deep massage. So you want to make sure that you're getting their itchies. We're making this a benefit for them. We're helping them understand that hanging out with people is awesome. There we go. So this colt had never been touched by a person prior to today. He was a range baby up until, I guess, 2 months ago when they decided to, I mean, he walked in the gates on his own and they started feeding him because he was starving. And now he's well on his way to being a good, solid citizen. Hey, buddy, does that feel good? And some horses will let you pet their neck first. Some will let you pet their butt. They feel safer because then if they need to, they can kick at you. And, you know, I know a lot of trainers will demand that the horse faces you, but honestly, I really just want to do whatever they're comfortable with and then work my way up. I don't want to push my luck too much and make it unpleasant for them. But the cool thing is that once they're used to you touching them with the stick, you can do things like check this out. I'm going to touch his leg. We're going to see if he kicks at me. Look at that. And there's no risk to my safety because if he kicks out, well, he gets the stick. No big deal. When I say he gets the stick, I don't mean that we hit him with the stick. I mean he kicks the stick, and I don't care about that. He's a good boy. There. Okay, I'm going to give him a minute to think about that because we've been at this for about 10 minutes, and that's a lot for a little guy to process. So I'm going to let him think about that, let him de-stress, have some treats. I'm going to try the other side of his butt.